Hey you guys, this video isn't gonna make a lot of sense probably. I'm gonna probably be all over the place, but I want to show you a video. Maybe I'll talk about the other video that I alluded to in a post I made. Okay, well, I was going over Revelation again last night. I'll just start with this. And I was thinking about the pit, and the pit, the beast comes up, he extracts the locust, the pit, he comes up and he kills the two witnesses, and then the scarlet beast, which matches in 12 the red dragon. Then you have the scarlet, which is red, right? The scarlet beast. Okay, so it's red. All right. Then you have, yes, the scarlet beast with the whore in the wilderness. And then they say, John says, or they tell John, the beast, the scarlet beast that came up out of the pit. So yes, I was thinking, okay, all three of these are the pit. And then how the other video I was saying the fifth vial and the fifth trumpet and the second woe kind of match. So I was in my mind kind of trying to think of all those simultaneously. Jesus defeats the 10 kings, and it goes from there, right? After they kill the whore, and yet you have, the beast gets his deadly wound. That beast comes up out of the pit. He indwells we'll call him the Antichrist, because then in, I forget what chapter, it says the people worshipped the dragon. The people worshipped the beast that is the dragon, the beast, the dragon. It says it like keeps back in that one verse, probably two, it says the people worship the dragon. Okay, then in the chapter, whatever it is, it says the frogs. It says the frogs came out of the dragon, the beast, and the false prophet. Okay, well, the beast and the dragon are the one thing. So when the dragon falls, you've been cast down from heaven in 12. Woe to you, people on earth, for the devil has come down to you, right? Okay, so, all right, where was I? So yes, the dragon basically is the beast. So, but before the dragon indwells the beast, he is just a plain old Antichrist. He's just a human. Okay, for 3.5 years, right? He's a human. But when the dragon casts down, then he gets the deadly head wound. I'm also thinking that he gets a deadly head wound and he's probably also dead for 3 days and rises again, right? Because the two witnesses are dead in the street for 3.5 days. They rise again. Well, I don't have my notes, and I probably can't keep a train of thought here, but the point is I was trying to simultaneously see how these all three can happen at the same time, where he gets a deadly wound, he's indwelt, the 10 kings are dead, the 10 kings have killed the whore, the locusts are coming out. See, it also says smoke came out and it darkened the sun and the air. Also the fifth vial, he's gnashing and he's in pain from sores. I'm thinking, well, okay, and also when I said in my other video, 5 months has passed because the second woe is past. That means, but that doesn't mean, I was thinking how it says the second woe has passed. It just means that smoke from the pit came up, the locusts came out. Now the 5 months begins. That woe has passed, meaning they've been unleashed, but it doesn't mean the 5 months has passed. So maybe the 5 months has begun. Okay, then it says the second woe is past. So then they're prepared, right? They were prepared. Whether the fifth vial and the fifth trumpet and the second woe happen simultaneously or not, I don't know. But all I know is that beast that comes out of the pit 3 times, you have, then people are okay, they're celebrating, they're they're celebrating that the two witnesses are dead. There was something else I was relating to that about celebrating. Oh, they wondered at the beast. They said, who is like the beast? Who can make war with the beast? That means that beast that came up, killed the two witnesses, and now he's indwelling the human Antichrist. And they're saying, who can make war with the beast? Because look, these two witnesses for 3.5 years, we've been trying to kill them and nobody can. It's going on the television worldwide. Everybody's keeping an eye on these two witnesses and nobody can kill him. But the beast comes out of the pit. He then indwells the one with the deadly head wound, the human Antichrist. And then he's able to kill the two witnesses who can make war with the beast. Okay. Then you also have somewhere it says the frogs. Yes, the frogs. The frogs come forth. They're doing miracles. Now, this could be at the very end, right? Okay, I understand. Maybe it's not simultaneous with the other pit versus the three, but those frogs come out and they perform miracles. Miracles such as, now I know those vials also turn water into dead blood, right? Jesus is the living blood. He's the living water. He's life, okay? Jesus turned water into wine. These frogs are doing miracles. There's nothing but dead blood to drink. Nobody can live off that. So these frogs doing miracles, maybe they're turning bloody water into water to drink, because no one can live unless you are a cannibal, which they might be. God is giving them what they deserve. There's even an angel interrupts in the middle of those 7 vials to praise God that they're getting what they deserve. They're getting blood to drink, like the blood of the saints and all that. Okay, so then I go back to this whore, because when is she? Is she in the first 3.5? I don't get it, because she's killed right when, around the time, mid-trib, when the human Antichrist is becoming the dragon, indwell, deadly head wound, and then she's getting killed. Well, then that means she was alive the first 3.5 years. But when you read 18 and 19, it's like the end of 18, you might think, okay, over. But when it goes into 19, it tells you, no, not over. We are connecting it, and we're bleeding 18 into 19, which concretes the fact that the death of the whore and the rapture are happening mid-trib, which there is no mid-trib rapture. Okay, now I'm going to add something else. So, the whore has been killed by the 10 kings, also by Jesus. Jesus overcomes the 10 kings. The 10 kings give their power to the beast for 1 hour. Probably after they've killed the whore, then they have no more power. But the beast gives the 10 kings their power. That's a verse. But then once they do kill that whore, they obviously give their power maybe to the beast then. And that's when, even regardless of if they give their power to the beast or not, Jesus can overcome the 10 kings. So that Jesus overcomes the 10 kings. Okay, whatever chapter that is. But now let's go to 18 and 19. It's talking about the whore and then the rapture in 19. It looks like it, because Jesus has many crowns and he's got a lot of people. Now, I haven't put my brain cells together to connect it, but it might be the dead saints from the first half. Okay, but he's using language like wedding. The bride has made herself ready. Blessed are those who are in the marriage supper of the Lamb. It's a lot like rapture language. Bride, wedding, rapture. Then you go to the 10 virgins. 5 of them are locked out of the wedding. There's going to be weeping and gnashing of teeth. That is a rapture verse before tribulation. That is a rapture parable. before. See, this is what Revelation has been doing to me, because it's overlapping things that, not just in the parables, some of the rapture parables, but in itself, but as time goes by and I'm getting it better down, I can kind of now think in my own mind instead of flipping through the pages so much. But this whore in Babylon that gets destroyed, and then there's a wedding, okay? How does that mesh with the parable of the 10 virgins, okay? I don't know. And there's probably other things that I'm just not thinking about, that I haven't figured out, that kind of are like that. But okay, now I can show you a video. This is very scary. And you know, I did a post about, maybe I can just go ahead and find it. I don't want to lose this video though. Hold on. So if I can find the post, I posted a picture of some initials, and I'm like, oh, this is classic, a socialist that doesn't like to be spied on, you know, because you know, it seems like the Trump administration is kind of spying on these Antifa types, right? Now, to me, he has been so mum. Okay, look, this this organization with people are complaining about these flock cameras, right? So let me now find all right, so mainly though, probably it's the Democrats and the people up to no good that don't like the flock cameras. So I was saying in the post, oh, thank God Trump is actually, you know, and I even made a post a long time ago. I said, you mark my words, Trump may not be talking about it, but because, you know, they're always talking about suing him and impeaching him. But I heard that Chuck Schumer said on one of my channels I'm watching, they were, you know, informing everybody that Chuck Schumer says we're not going to try to impeach him. We're just going to find all the things that he has done wrong or something. So that's odd. That's good news. I don't know why they've decided not to do that, but I think that's what they said. So I always found it weird, and I made a post and I was like, you know, mark my words, Trump may be silent about this because he seems to, I know the term, let it go off your back like the water off a duck's back. This is too serious. Look at it. Iran is wanting to murder him. The Democrats want to get rid of him. And these channels threaten him by saying, we're going after your family, we're going after you, we're going after the channels next. And Trump lets it run off his back all the time, no matter who or where. He's trying to make deals with terrorists. He's mum about the threats against him in his own country. And yeah, like a month or so ago, I'm like, yeah, no, Trump, they were threatening Trump first time, you know, the last time. But I said this time, they're starting to threaten his family. No man is going to go for that. I've said it before. He needs to take them down before they take him down. But he's never talking about this. He's never, ever talking about, hey, I'm going to get these Dems. What they're doing is illegal. And I rationalized it saying, well, he's mum because he doesn't want to give them a heads up. He wants to catch them with their pants down. Well, anyway, I'm beginning to wonder. I love Trump. I love him. And there's nothing wrong with him. He is not up to no good. I am not intimating that. I'm not intimating he's possessed or he's the Antichrist. I'm not intimating that. But like I said, I'm going to show you a video of a rabbi. It is God doing something here with Trump, you know, scrambling his brain, blinding his eyes to things that are so serious. Threats on your life are serious, yet he's not taking them really all that serious. We had Vance go on the tour with his book tour. That seemed to be a fiasco for us. Then Rubio makes a video. I've just seen clips of an interview with him and his wife. And it's a fun video, sure. And it's light-hearted, and he's a cool guy. He's very funny and fun, and he's a good guy, and we all love him. But, listen. Okay, what else? So we got those. Oh, and then I've shared videos with like Glenn Beck. Glenn Beck and another guy who's very close to everything in the White House seem to say that there's no daylight between Vance, Rubio, and Trump. In fact, they all love each other. They all agree. Trump thinks they're funny. He likes to watch them and see how they interact. Rubio will not run against JD Vance. If JD Vance runs, Rubio won't. What does that tell you? It tells you that when people run against each other, they're going to have to smear each other a little bit, right? So Rubio is basically saying to everybody, look, you guys, I'm not going to run against JD Vance because I know my people that love me and wish and want me to run. They're angry at JD Vance, and they will want me to talk about all the stupidness of this IOU or whatever it's called, memorandum. And he's thinking, no, I'm not going to go against my bud, JD Vance. I'm not going to say he's an idiot for that thing. And now Jared Kushner is doing this stuff again, probably because Trump wants him to. And no matter what Trump and JD Vance say, Trump is the president. He's not going to let JD Vance just go and do a memorandum and out of his own mind. Trump had to have okayed it, right? So to me, why is Trump so mum about all the threats? Why is he so nonchalant about Islam over there in Iran when he could have had this squared away way before midterms and not have to worry about anything? And then, but he drug his feet. He did weird stuff. It's like God is handing it to you and you're like, no, I'm going to make it hard. I'm going to make it hard, God. I don't want the easy. That's too easy, God. Like the term, taking the defeat out of the jaws of victory. Yeah. So it's bizarre. It's very, very freaky bizarre. But this rabbi who says odd things in a Christian mind, in a Christian belief, they're very strange beliefs and that the Jews believe, some of them, and rabbis, but I understand that. But, do not bash them for that. So if I share the video, he's going to explain something, if you can understand him, because he talks like super fast and not clear. It's not that he has an accent, but he doesn't define his syllables or something like that. Anyway, so listen to that and I'll share it and he's going to explain to you. So what I'm wondering is, God is making it to where Trump is Trump is just not caring. Okay, so I'm going to show you a video, and it is Ben Shapiro, and I'm sure other channels and other people have seen this clip of a movie, but I haven't. It was from August 3rd, Ben Shapiro, and I don't watch things always right on time, okay? Oh, goodness. So, anyway, it's a trailer to a movie, and what I'm thinking is, okay, the trailer to the movie is very scary. It, to me, is going to happen. It's happening now, all this and that and the other. Yet Trump is dragging his feet to squash Islam in the Middle East, which would have helped squash it here and worldwide, but he didn't do it. He didn't do it. He didn't take the opportunity to do it. Okay. Now, then he is being mum about it here on our soil. He's not seeming to care. He's letting it roll off his back, and maybe he's got something in his back pocket, and he's gonna arrest them all. I don't know when, maybe after midterms. But this is freaking dangerous stuff to be effing around with. Yeah. As he turns a blind eye to it day after day and doesn't, maybe he's speaking about it, but I don't see those clips on the videos that I watch sporadically. Maybe I know they'll make clips of him saying, well, once I saw, because I don't watch as much as I used to. I don't watch TBN lately. I don't watch these channels lately. I mean, I'm reading Revelation and doing other stuff, and I can't squeeze it all in, but they had one clip that said something like, Trump just, it reminds me of Biden saying, don't. Kamala Harris saying, don't. Okay, to Iran. But, you know, Trump, they showed a clip of him saying, I don't like this. Speaking of Mandami over there in New York and the Islam takeover in America. And I've heard him say stuff like that before, similar. Like, this isn't good. I don't agree with it. I don't like it. Oh, hello, you're the president. What the hell? What kind of verbiage is that? Wussy stuff. And, yeah, I made a comment in a post once a while back saying how if people follow the leader, he's the president. If he would expound upon the Iranian people and the victims more, people would follow. Dems would quiet down. I know the Dems hate him, but it doesn't matter. When he says it out of his own mouth about the victims of these Islams and the Christians and the Iranians, they're going to have to entangle their twisted mess in with, I mean, how does it go? It's like, it's hypocrisy. It's hypocrisy what the Dems are doing. They care about this, but yet they don't care about the Christians that the Islams are, okay? Yet Trump won't say anything. He won't say anything, but if he would, it would help us. It would, but he doesn't. He doesn't. I don't know if you know what I'm trying to say, but if you remember what I posted a long time ago, I wish that Trump would just say it. Say that Islam is killing Christians, and you have Islam here and you're on their side, right? Islam kills Jews, you know, whatever it was I was connecting here. And I was saying that if a leader is the one that points out the victims instead of staying mum, that goes millions of miles with that, right? But he's not doing it. And that, you know, I love this rabbi who seems to be putting a couple prophecies together that sound contradictory, but he explains why. Okay, so now let me show you this Ben Shapiro. So I just think something weird is going on. I think God is blinding Trump, and you know, like we know about Nate and how the Islam is taking over, right? Well, it's in Michigan, sure, and like my boss and my ex-husband, they'll say things like, well, it's not bothering me, meaning it's not in my state. And I'm like, okay, so to what I was thinking today is, yeah, New York could be Babylon, right? It's in Michigan. Sure, they're clustered in those states, certain states, right? They're not here in my peaceful neighborhood, right? When time comes, those are the headquarters, and they're gonna open up their cells, meaning activate wherever they're here in my small town, if they are, or they'll just march, get in their cars, their Toyotas, whatever. They're gonna come to us, sweet little quiet, peaceful Americans. Also, they look at us like you're a Christian nation. Not only are you heretics, but if you're a Christian nation, yet you allow your women to dress the way they dress, you know, because you've seen clips of how, like one I saw where this woman was wearing a summer dress walking next to women in a hijab, and it focused in on the hijabi women's faces, and they were like, ugh. And then the clip was just kind of like, you know, they won't assimilate when they look at a woman in America in a summer dress. And it was a plunging neckline, and it was a mini dress, okay? And it was bright yellow. It was hard to miss. So they're probably looking at us saying, yeah, these Christians don't evangelize their own people. Yes, we are a secular nation, just like Iran wants to be a secular nation. That means that Jesus gives you a choice. We have biblical foundations. Just because I liked Jack Hibbs kind of described it a little bit, but just because you call yourself, because that confused me at first when Iran was chanting that, but just because a nation says they want to be secular, that means you want to be free. Usually in the Christian world and in the Christian mind, you think secular means something bad, and it is for a Christian. But in Jesus doesn't force people to accept him, and he doesn't kill you if you don't. Okay, let me just finish showing you this. It's Ben Shapiro. He showed this trailer. Hold on, let me let the phone.
Fun, controversial, hard-hitting action movie in probably decades. Run, hide, fight, infidels.
Run, hide, fight.
Beneath contempt. We who love and serve Allah fought back against the Americans and the Zionists from the scourge of secularism and the lands of unbelief.
Anyone gonna listen to Captain Saunders tomorrow? The retired Delta Force soldier with a new book out.
He's the polar opposite of those brain-dead protesters.
Given the current climate, should Clay Saunders even be allowed on campus? Mr. Saunders is a close personal friend of Chancellor Friedman. This is a decision I cannot fight.
There are three ways Islam will conquer the West.
Hey, Shadow.
Through immigration, through the wombs of our women, and by using our nation's freedoms against us.
Yeah.
Are you paying attention?
Allah Akbar. It's terrible.
The great Satan, America, will fall. You are infidels. The bodies of women are not pure, and men's souls are unclean.
What makes them so dangerous? Their goals are not in this life, but the next.
Anyone? I got friends here. I can't just leave. Listen to me.
We cannot run or hide from what is coming. We have to fight.
I will be rewarded 10,000 times in the next life. When you die, you're nothing. Only one way to find out.
That's the American way.
Is this some kind of civil war coming? Run, hide, fight. You guys, what I wonder is, why is Trump not talking openly about what he might do about this? You've seen, hopefully, the videos from Nate or other channels like Dave Rubin, Lefty's Losing It, which I haven't seen in a long time, but I love it. I just think it's weird. I don't know. I know it's God. If this is a blinding, but if it's not a blinding and Trump is just staying mum because he's going to catch them with their pants down, I don't know. But if he's not, because God is just blinding him and he's just going, oh, big deal. And like this rabbi seems to think, Trump really, now this rabbi you'll hear, I'll share him in the comments. I got confused at once. I had to watch it a few times. The way he speaks is he's speaking for Trump, but he's, you know, like when you say, when you're mimicking somebody, you're speaking as they speak because you're mimicking them, right? So he kind of does that. But at first, the way he was saying it, it made me think that Trump was literally thinking it in his head, saying, oh, well, I can't save Iran because that. Oh, but now I have to destroy Iran. And because he's explaining Trump sporadic, okay? Well, no, I destroyed Iran, but God doesn't want me to ally with Israel, but that God does want me to ally with Israel. So now I'm going to go. So see, he speaks like that, like you're thinking at first, you're like, wait a minute, is Trump really saying that? Trump is really communing with God like that, which you can. Yeah, no, it's not crazy when you hear God's voice. Okay, so at first I thought, what are you saying? Or how do you know? But what it is he is, because I'm an airhead, he's basically just speaking so fast that he doesn't want to explain it. And he's just saying, you need to catch what I'm saying, right? Like I've done before. He's basically saying, you know, yeah, Trump in his mind, because God is running his mind, because God sets up kings and he sways their hearts. So Trump has destroyed Iran in a way, degraded them severely. Trump has supported Israel, give him everything they want, but yet he's disparaged Bibi. Trump hasn't helped Israel by destroying Iran all the way, by negotiating with the enemy. You know what I'm saying? This rabbi explains through a couple of prophecies why Trump is doing this. You know, yo-yo. When it is so cut and dry, God handed it to him, but he's like, no. Wadding it up, throwing it out. That's too easy, God. Have you ever known people like that? I do. It's my boss all day long. It's something so easy, but he wants to make it complicated because it makes him feel smart. That he solved some problem that wasn't even a problem to be solved. And then if you solve a problem, lickety-split, because it's easy to solve, he wants to tear it all up and say, that's not da-da-da. That's a twisted mind of Satan when he has you possessed. That's the Democrats, okay? They're twisted. Satan is controlling their mind. God is controlling Trump's mind. Like I've been saying, this is too crazy to not be God. So, my question is, would all this happen midterms? Would it happen at the end of his term? Another thing is, you know, at the last Trump, you know, we all know that as Christians. Trump had 4 years. Now he's so far 2 years. That's 6 years. This rabbi that I'll share, he seems to think something about next year is the Gula, the redemption, right? So, which would be our rapture. Now, and remember, the Jews get hidden mid-trib. And if there is some kind of a rapture of those first 3.5 year saints, they get raptured mid-trib and the Jews get hidden. So what would be left? There's obviously some more Christians because well, I'd have to reread it because maybe I mixed it up, but no, I think there's more Christians that will be getting killed in the second half of the trib, in the Great Tribulation, of course. So somehow they survived all first 3.5 years, which was probably peaceful until, yeah. So, but the whore, if she was in the first 3.5 years, that whore, she is drunk on the blood of the saints. That means she's been killing Christians without taking a mark, because the mark isn't even offered yet, but she's still killing Christians, right? Okay, so I'm just saying, 7 years, 7 trumpets. I'm not big on eschatology, like I've told you before. I'm trying to figure it out myself, which is dumb. It's dangerous. But I know there's something about 7 trumpets. I don't know if the last trump of the 7 is the rapture, but in 2027 will be Trump's basically his 7th year. If he's a lame duck after midterms, who knows what shit will hit the fan. This, you guys, I know people I listen to, like Dave Rubin, his calling is not Christianity, but I know he's a Christian because he said so. He may not talk about Jesus and the Bible and all that. Neither does Ben Shapiro, who isn't a Christian, but he's Jew. He's a Jew. Those channels don't talk about religion or Jesus or God or anything like that. That's not their labor. That's not their calling. What was I going to say about this? But they see, whether they know about end time prophecy or not, which they probably do, they can see that the Dems, and now the Dems want to try to backtrack, like, oh, that was silly. That's a demonic trickery. You guys, whether they really mean it or not, it doesn't matter. They tricked to get ahead. They're walking over dead bodies to get to the top. The COVID vaccination, number 1, and go from there. So anyway, the channels I watch that their calling isn't religion, but it is fighting for the cause of religion, good and evil. They're fighting against evil. They see more than what I see. I just see little bits, and I can't watch everything. That's their job, is to watch all of it and then present it to us. So they know way more than I do. They know the Nates out there where Islam has taken over. Surely they can see the insanity of Trump not squashing it overseas and staying mum about it within the seas. Okay? Something is weird. And like I said, it is God doing it. It is not that Trump is doing any of this on purpose. He is not. Like I've said before in my other video, when I really went off, when J.D. Vance was doing this memorandum in the beginning, and I'm like, you can't dance with Satan, da-da-da-da-da. Okay. I was saying how I don't like how J.D. Vance's ex-democratic mentality might be rubbing off on Trump. Trump is being way more calm, you guys. To me, he is being way too calm for too long. Since that MOU and that J.D. Vance influence of, and on my video, I was going off. I'm like, don't influence Trump to be calm. Don't do that. And Trump has never bounced back to where he used to be. Feisty. The only time he's feisty is when he's threatening Iran again. And then the next day, he seems so bipolar. And he seems fine with it. He's so nonchalant. Yeah, we're going to make a deal. Yeah, we're going to give him one more chance. Y'all, that is not Trump speaking. That is God. God is saying, I'm doing this because I'm about to crash. I'm about to pull the plug. Okay? That's what I think. And I think all the Trump supporters, the channels I watch, Ben Shapiro, Dave Rubin, whoever they are, all of them, I love them. I'll bet they see it, but I don't think they're talking about it. And that's okay. But I know they're thinking about it. I hope they're thinking about it because it's odd. Trump is acting very strange. He is a powerhouse, opinionated, evil hater. He hates evil. He hates it with a passion, just like we do. but yet he's letting it roll off his back like a duck's back. That's not Trump. He's weird. He's behaving weird. Not in a bad weird. Well, to us it might be bad, but to God, I think God is doing something. And I think God, one day, if not soon, maybe next year, like this rabbi thinks, which he just blips it once. I think it's next year, but blah, blah, blah. Y'all, I think God is really putting a heavy hand on Trump right now. I don't like hearing things like Rubio won't run against Vance. They're friends. Glenn Beck says all three of them are friends. They all agree. Another guy said it, and I shared the clip. Some guy I've never heard of, and maybe nobody, because he's in the shadows, like kind of like that other girl that came out. She used to telephone for the Democrats. Those are people who are famous in the background, right? Y'all, this, how can, and all these Rubio supporters, oh, we hate Vance now for what he did and said, and he hates Israel. Dude, do you not hear what you're saying? Or do you not know that Rubio loves Vance? And now you're saying, Rubio for president, Rubio loves what Vance is doing. So they're, I know that old saying for the crazy Christians that believe in the dumb conspiracy theories of the bad, like, oh, the Democrats and the Republicans, they're all the same party and they're in bed together. I don't go with that crap. But in this case, that's not what I mean. The Democrats are demonic, but in our own party, the Republicans, who are doing these evil MOUs, they're not speaking out about Christians who are being massacred from Islam. They're not talking about getting the demonic Democrats breaking the law. They're not talking about the Islam taking over. They're not talking about that enough. And yet, Rubio knows the scoop, but yet he's on JD's side, who JD has a Tucker offspring in his office. And I mean, these are reputable sources. And then they come out, Rubio, with some flippant little video, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's okay to make videos like that. And they're light and they're fun and it's your wife and your family. But there are serious things going on that you're not even addressing, you're ignoring. It reminds me of another distraction, like look over here, look over here. Don't pay attention to what we are not doing. And there's no daylight between us, JD Vance, Rubio, and Trump. So I think it's God. God is saying, these are my men. They are fighting evil. But I am blinding them to the seriousness of the evil because I do not want them to crush it. I want the evil to take over because it is the end and it must take over. You read it in Revelation. Jesus says plainly, he says, yeah, I let the kings kill the whore to do my will. I put it in their heart so that I can do my will. Okay? God does it all the time. He does it especially with his kings. He did it with Biden. He really put that leader to sleep for a message to do damage because he wanted some damage done to get the ball rolling. God doesn't want Trump to clean it up, I don't think, because God doesn't want it cleaned up because it's going to be the end. I'm just wanting to tell you that pray that you're counted worthy to escape. I do not want to be left with a bunch of Muslims invading my neighborhood because Allah Akbar, and they start raping us next. Okay, like they're chanting in the streets of Minnesota and London and Allah Akbar. And that's what they were saying when they were massacring the Jews on October 7th. And yet Trump isn't doing anything about them screaming that on our soil. That's what I find strange. He's not magnifying the victims. He's allowing the left to stay victims. and to silence the real victims. And they're all saying, oh, look at my scraped knee over here. Oh, our sibling over here is in ICU. But wait, no, me. And it's always bullshit stuff they're screaming about when there are more serious things that are crushing our country because they're getting ignored. Anyway, I'll share the video. Maybe I'll get back on and talk more about Revelation when I get back on it. And like I said, the 10 virgins going to a wedding, but yet you read in 19, as soon as that whore is killed, there is a wedding. How do you do that? How does that fit? I know it fits, but I know nobody talks about those things because how can you fit them? But I would like for somebody to fit them, but if not, no, who cares? I don't care. All I know is God will. I mean, we're no different than the Jews. If the Jews have to get massacred, we might have to too. Obviously, in the trib, there are some Christians. It says, woe unto you, world. The devil has come down to you. Talking about those who believe in Christ. The saints who have the testimony of Jesus Christ. So it's either Christians that are left behind because they were lukewarm. They weren't serious about their relationship with their husband. You know, I know it's hard to wrap our mind around because he's invisible. But we got to try. You got to try. You have to try. Sure, he's invisible and you really have, you're like, okay, yeah, buddy God, how you doing? Thank you for saving me. And what do you know, I don't care. God said to do it and you need to try. I know he doesn't have skin on right now and we are his hands and feet, and maybe it's not enough for us sometimes when we're all alone and we're having a trauma. We need some skin on, and there's no skin on there, and Jesus isn't answering us or showing up. But so what? Do it anyway. Treat him like your husband anyway, as best as you know how, as best as you can try. Because however this shakes out, I don't want some Allah Akbar Muslims cropping up and breaking my windows, ripping me out of my house, cutting me in pieces, shooting my privates with a nail gun. Yeah, like they did one of these Jew women in October 7th. Her privates were full of nails from a nail gun, probably from her own house while they were working on. I'm telling you, the trib is going to be worse than October 7th any day. October 7th is going to be a dream compared to the trib and the Holocaust. Okay? So just remember that and do whatever you can in your mind to analogize to help you comprehend the fact. Like sometimes I'll do. I'm like, yeah, I may hate this or hate that, or, you know, evil this, evil that. But no, maybe that's not the good analogy. It's like, you know, okay, I'll just use I never liked my fingers. I think I've said this before. I always wanted, you know, there's always women, you know, oh, I want her hips. I want her waistline. I want her skin. I want her hair. I want her eyes. I want her eyelashes, right? It was like that. It's like, oh, these women that get their nails done and they have these perfect little nail beds. Their nails are cute and however they lay. And yet when I lost 2 of my fingers, I didn't hate my fingers anymore, right? Now, I know that doesn't happen to many people, but is there something in your life that you can do that? You can say, well, I hate that, but if it were taken away, I wouldn't hate that so much. Like, you may hate your smile, but if all your teeth were gone, you would be looking back and say, my smile wasn't that ugly. Okay? Okay, so when when you want to complain, maybe you're not complaining, but if you want to say, yeah, but it's so hard because God is invisible and I don't hear from him and all this, then try to imagine if he's not there at all. And he's not going to disappear in the trib. He'll still be here, I'm sure. But what I mean is, when all hell's breaking loose, and when all hell is breaking loose, and he's not saving anybody, he's not saving any Christians because they're all getting beheaded, right? You're going to wish, you're going to say, oh, he was invisible then, but at least I had peace. I wasn't being hunted like a Jew. Like Jews are hunted, right? You will be like, wow, all that peace I had before the tribulation started, all that was heaven sent. All that was God's presence with us. God was so strongly with us. That's the only reason we have peace, right? So when the trib starts, you're going to be thinking, I wish I had at least tried to commune with God more than I have. And like this Shabbat, like Saturday is our Sabbath day of rest. God made it holy. I know Jews don't use their electrical devices or watch TV, but as Christians, yes, I'm not going to go that far. But because I do watch some of this, and I do drive a car, but I don't, like the verse says, you do what you want to do on my day, God says. You do what you want to. So in other words, I'm not going to take my Saturday Sabbath and say, my laundry list, I got to go grocery shopping. I got to do laundry. I got to do this. I want to do that. No, I'm not going to do that. I don't do that anymore. I say, no, I'm not going to do what I want to do. I'm going to rest. And if I watch channels, not for entertainment, but for information, that is different. So, but however you want to, just make sure you don't go against what he says, where it's the seventh day of rest, and don't do things you want to do. Like, oh, I want to go play basketball. That's what you want to do on God's day. So, and as far as working, but if you have to work in an emergency because somebody's got to go to the hospital or something, sure. Okay, anyway, I'm just trying to say, please make yourself conscious, like God says, examine yourself, judge yourself. If you continue to just keep yourself occupied so you don't have to think about those things, and that's going to get you off the hook, because you won't be held accountable because you were busy doing the Lord's work. Don't look at me. That's not, because the Lord's work is his own. You're the vessel. It's not your business. It's his business. And you got to seek him first. And he's going to give you the business about his business in the kingdom. But he wants you to rest on the Sabbath, Saturday. And okay, so please don't be left behind, even though there will be people. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. It's the way it's going to go down. If people could save the whole world and every Jew comes to Christ, that's not biblical. Okay? You might get a Jew here or there. You might get a Christian, okay, while you're discipling. But the whole world ain't going to be saved. So, and the Jews have a purpose in their Judaism, not Messianic Judaism, okay? No. So all these Christians that want the whole world to be saved, yet they could give a flying flip about the Jews being saved. Oh, you're fine with them going through the tribulation. Yeah. And I have gone over Daniel a little bitty bit. God, and Jack Hibbs was explaining how you really need to know Daniel as well. I plopped into it yesterday. I guess Jesus led me to Daniel. and it was Daniel 12, which looks like Revelation 10, and so does, oh, and 11. There's a spot in 12 that looks like Revelation 11. So, yeah, I'm going to look, and some of that stuff, yeah, it's going to twist my mind now that I know more about Revelation. And when I read Daniel, I'm going to go, oh, God, well. Okay, so anyway, whether we figure all this out or not, whether you go to a eschatology teacher and get it all figured out and taught and learnt from them, fine. But the fact remains, there's going to be a tribulation. It may be any day now, and I'll share that rabbi's video. Okay, God bless you guys. Love you and praying for you. And please just, through your labor for good and evil, please, for good against evil, please just go to Jesus and go to God and say, I want to be closer, help me. But it's clearly a proactive thing, because he says, draw nigh to me and I will draw nigh to you. So you can't just, some of these Christians are so stupid. Oh, I want to feel you, whatever. I don't know of a good example right yet, but there was one they used to always kind of pray. I don't listen to those channels anymore that say pray up. So I don't listen to them. I don't know if they're still saying that, but some of this stuff they pray for, it's like, if you read your Bible, you would know that God doesn't do that for you. You have to be proactive and seek his face. You have to seek him. But no, they just want everything handed to them and for God to just show up and and their life is great. There's certain stupid things you don't ask for, okay? So don't be asking for shit like that. Like, oh, draw near to me, God. Because he said, you do it first. Okay? Don't be freaking lazy. All right, bye. And God bless you.